It all written down.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Brad Gottschall. I am the Lower Paxton Township Manager. And in brief fashion, I'm just going to give a quick summary of this evening's meeting before we begin, particularly for the benefit of those who may be watching at home this evening. After approving of previous meeting minutes and receiving various comments and reports, under new business, the board will take action on two separate change orders for the sewer pole building facility, finally closing this project out. Good-looking building if you have a chance to take a look. Next, the board will consider action on application for payment number 5 from Greenland Construction for the 2019 Township Drainage Improvements Project. Following this, agenda item number 9C, the board will consider approval of the 2020 through 2025 Winter Traffic Services Agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. After this, listed as items numbered 9D and 9E on the agenda, the board will take up consideration of two resolutions. Resolution 20-18 authorizes the execution of a lease purchase agreement for the acquisition of a public works truck, and Resolution 20-19 accepts the dedication of certain right-of-way along the northern side of Locust Lane. And lastly, under new business, the board will take action on improvement guarantees. Finally, before adjourning, the board will move to pay township and authority bills. And at this point, all the members of the board are seated and prepared to conduct business. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gottschall. We'd like to call this meeting of the Lower Paxton Board of Supervisors to order. We'd like to ask everyone to please stand, and Supervisor Lindsay will lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to move to approval of minutes. These would be the minutes from the June 9th, 2020 Board of Supervisors workshop. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Before we proceed to public comment, I would like to announce the Board of Supervisors met in executive session prior to this meeting to receive information from staff and from legal counsel, and will be meeting following the meeting in executive session. With that, we will proceed to public comment. Public comment is for items that are not on the agenda this evening. If you wish to address an item on the agenda, you would be afforded time to comment at that point. So with that, is anybody interested in making public comment? Yes, sir. Please come to the podium and give us your name and address. A reminder, public comments are limited to 5 minutes. Each person gets to come up once, and you need to be a resident of Lower Paxton Township. If you could give us your name and address, sir.
My name is Colin Powell. I live at 4925 Colorado Avenue. And back in May, my wife wrote a wonderful letter to you guys about altering the ordinances to be a bit more friendly towards backyard beekeeping and specifically hen keeping. So I just wanted to touch on some of the benefits there and maybe possible changes that could happen. Obviously, benefits to bees would include honey, pollination of crops and flowers. Benefits of chickens are that there's lots of nitrogen in their droppings, which would encourage strong soil. They also eat a lot of unwanted insects such as ticks, and they lay eggs, which were really hard to get a hold of early pandemic. So I think there could be some pushback there, so I wanted to kind of talk about some of the issues that could come up. Obviously, when you hear bees, you probably think being stung. You could alter your ordinance to be very specifically against or for non-aggressive bees, and additionally, having bees in a hive would only kind of be protective of that hive area. Bees would probably keep to their main mission, which is to pollinate. So I doubt they would go sting people. And additionally, their radius is about 6 miles, so you're likely not to see too many people or extra bees that you would normally see. I mean, we see bees all the time in our flowers, and we're never stung. They're never attacked or anything. Additionally, people that would want to pursue being a backyard beekeeper would probably have the protective equipment to handle them. I also would encourage looking at, including in your ordinance, to look at a 6-foot bee closet. That would, or not necessarily 6 feet, but a bee closet in general. This is something that's used in a lot of places in Europe, and a lot of books that we've read encourage it. What it is you build a bit of a fence around just the beehive, and that encourages when bees leave, they come up to the wall, and instead of going around or finding holes in it, they will actually go up, and that will then become their runway. So they can then work 6 miles from there. So about 6 feet would probably be a pretty safe bee closet. And that's been confirmed by a number of sources, including the Capital Area Beekeepers Association. With chickens, I feel like a lot of people are concerned about the noise. Studies show they would produce no more noise than the average songbird or barking dogs or even fireworks that go off at night. They're different noise, but they're not very loud. I would also encourage using your terminology to be limited to just hens as opposed to roosters. Roosters crow in the morning at sunrise. Nobody wants that. At least I don't. So hens, we just want hens. Hens would be perfect there.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, I brought a few copies of this letter that include the current ordinance and how this ordinance could be altered to be a bit more friendly for that. I brought 5 copies. I can hand them out if you want. But it's kind of based on how other municipalities in very popular areas such as Pittsburgh, Philly, and all 5 boroughs of New York have altered theirs to make it chicken and bee friendly. So if people in Manhattan can have hens, I think Lower Paxton Township citizens can too. Thank you so much.
If you would give the copies to Mr. Gottschall, and then he will distribute them. Just one quick question. How can you tell the difference between aggressive and non-aggressive bees, and is there a way to attract the non-aggressive ones to the hive? Is there, not being familiar with beekeeping?
Yeah, absolutely. So typically with the non-aggressive ones, you'd probably limit it to the honeybees, and then you can get specific kinds. We're still doing our research, so I don't know the specific ones yet. That would be the ones to look for. But generally, honeybees are pretty docile. So that's pretty general. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Did I answer all your questions?
Yes.
Question back on the chickens.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the potential odor that could be created from the chickens?
I don't think that would really be too big an issue. My dad he lives in Palmyra, and he has many, many chickens, a good 30 so, and every time I visit, there's no smell there, and their droppings are very small, and the benefit to those would be great for nitrogen, great for biodiversifying your soil and making better crops.
Thank you.
Let's add a question. Your dad in Palmyra, our ordinance calls that you have to have an acre to have the chickens. What is their ordinance down there? You said he had 30.
I'm at about 30. I'm not too sure. I know he has at least an acre, so I'm not too sure what he's at.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Who's next? Anybody else like to address the board on an item not on the agenda this evening? Mr. Murphy, I'm sure you have some information for us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It is the first meeting of the month, so you know we are going to follow right after you on Thursday. The meeting this month is going to be a business meeting. We're not doing a presentation, but for those who were unable to attend our July 4th presentation, which actually fell on the Thursday before the 4th, we had 88 people that attended the meeting at Heroes Grove. And I really want to thank Parks and Recreation and Heroes Grove and the township for allowing us to be there. John Harris rode in on his horse. He did a presentation that was going to last about 45 minutes, and he finished in about a half hour and opened it to questions. And another 45 minutes went by with one question after another. what it was like here in 1776. And he was very informative. If anybody'd like to see the video of the presentation, it is on YouTube on the Lower Paxton Township Historical Commission channel, where we now have 16 of our presentations up and running, and they all run about an hour. We would like to let people know the meeting this month will be just for business, no presentation. We want to see what we can plan and how we're going to handle going forward, having meetings, because I don't see us coming back into this room with the type of crowds that we bring in for quite a while.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to come up with some plans. But I did want to keep you informed on what we're doing.
Good.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much. Would anybody else like to address the board on an item not on the agenda? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Sue Kaniski. I live at 6121 Mayfair Drive in Harrisburg. I am wondering if you can give us a status of the lease agreement regarding the Friendship Center and the YMCA. Has anything advanced? Is there anything we can look at? Have you guys made any advancements?
The situation is that Mr. Stein has prepared a draft lease, which has been provided to the YMCA. I understand they have a board meeting coming up in a couple of weeks. So the ball's sort of in their court at the moment, and we are awaiting their response to our draft document. Once we get that response, then we'll take whatever comments or changes they have into consideration at that time. So right now, we're waiting for them to get back to us.
So as far as public comment or input or evaluation, I think when we were here last time, you mentioned that once you got the lease, that's when we would have an opportunity to view that, comment on it. I'm trying to understand at what point any input can be provided from the community.
As I explained before, once we have arrived at a point where we and the board of the YMCA are comfortable with the proposed lease, at that point we will schedule a workshop meeting. The lease will be, proposed lease will be posted on our website prior to that meeting so people can read it. We'll have that workshop meeting where we'll take whatever public comment anybody wishes to offer. Then our procedure would be that we would make a decision the following Tuesday on whether or not to approve the lease. Or, based on input, we may delay for a few weeks to make changes.
Okay. So
At this point, since they probably won't get back to us until later this month, I don't really think we're going to be in a position to move on this in September. It would be my hope that we would have something concrete that we can bring before the public in October. That may be optimistic, but I'm hopeful that by that point we will.
So at this point in time, is there no intention of reopening the Friendship Center under the current operation?
It is not financially possible to do that. We are still awaiting our information relative to tax collections for the second quarter, which of course include the months of April and May when we had the economic shutdown. Mm-hmm. We're anticipating getting that information within the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That will tell us what the township's financial position is. However, I think one thing is clear. There is no doubt but what we're going to take a heavy revenue hit. Therefore, additional spending on the Friendship Center will not be financially possible this year. And the restrictions from the state level continue to remain in place. Mm-hmm. So under those circumstances, for right now, there are not plans to reopen, but we will evaluate everything when we get the second quarter revenue information here in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So we're sort of, at this point, from a revenue point of view and from the lease point of view, we're just in a holding pattern for a couple of weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Okay, seeing nobody else, we will then move to chairman and board member comments. The chairman has no comments. Board members?
Yeah, I just have one. Last night, Supervisor Zumas and myself attended a ribbon cutting at the Central Dauphin East High School dugouts, their baseball field. Caitlin Shuley, who lives on Spring Lake Road here in the township, she received her Gold Girl Scout Award. And what she did was she built dugouts over there for the varsity baseball team at Central Dauphin East. And she built them because her brother plays on their team, and they've never had dugouts. So she took it upon herself for her gold award to do that, and she got many donations and lots of, what'd she say, Norm, 202 volunteer hours from people, outside of the Girl Scouts to help her build that. So we were there in the pouring down rain, but she had the ribbon cutting, and thank you to Caitlin for doing that and choosing part of Lower Paxton Township to have that done.
Where is the sign in? There we go, thank you. Does anybody else have any comments? Okay, hearing none. I'm glad you and Supervisor Zumas were able to attend that.
Oh, you know what, Loman, I'm sorry, Chairman, I have one more.
Oh, sure. Go right
Friday
ahead.
night, I just wanted to thank the Parks and Recreation. They had their concert at Heroes Grove. Barb Giante and Terry Bucknight were there from Parks and Recreation, and they had a wonderful turnout, and people just had a great time. Unfortunately, we can't do any more because we're going to be putting a roof, I shouldn't say we, Heroes Grove, is going to be putting a roof over top, and that's going to be done sometime in August. But thank you to Parks and Recreation for providing that to the residents.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Manager's report. Mr. Gottschall.
Yes, sir. Members of the board, thank you very much. I have 3 items this evening, if I may. The first, I'll continue to play off of the importance of, again, my favorite subject here over the past few months, which is that of the census. This week, August 3rd through the 7th, is Census Week of Action, during which the Bureau and all complete count committees across the nation are making a concerted effort to spread the word of the importance and the safety of the 2020 census. Efforts locally during the week of action include daily social media messages, including today's message, which is that the census info, the information you provide to the census is safe. All 2020 census responses are kept confidential and private. It's the law, of course. Your responses cannot be shared and cannot be used against you by any government agency or court in any way. So, shape your future, and that was today's message, which was shared on Lower Paxton's social media outlets as well as social media outlets throughout the county. As of July 29th, our self-response rate here in the township has increased to 74%. That keeps us in the top 10 at number 9. And again, just to add a bit of context to the situation, our 2010 self-response rate was 77.3. With approximately 10 weeks or so left in the self-response process, if the township keeps with the current rate of increase week after week, we should just reach our 2010 self-response rate of 77.3. So I encourage residents to keep it up and go ahead and respond personally if they haven't done so yet. The Zoning Hearing Board currently has a vacancy on it for an alternate member to the board. The primary function of the board is to hear requests for variance of the terms of the zoning ordinance. If any member of the public is interested in serving this 3-year appointment as alternate to the Zoning Hearing Board, they are certainly encouraged to submit an application for appointment, which can be found on the township's website. And we are spreading the word on that through our various channels. And lastly, if I may, it's a bit of a public service announcement. Due to the continued growth in the geographic areas of Crumbs Mill Road, A change to a portion of Waste Management's collection route has been approved by the township. This route alteration will begin during the week of August 10th and will impact approximately 425 homes in that region. Waste Management has separately sent letters to each of the homes, and the township has also sent a Civic Ready blast alert to the affected properties as well. A map of the alterations may be found on the township's website if anybody is interested.
So they're just changing the date of pickup.
Correct. There are two different alterations. One, if you have a Friday pickup, they're going to move to a Thursday pickup. And I believe if you have a Wednesday pickup for some, they'll be moving to a Friday pickup. So they're kind of altering the pickups of various homes. I happen to be one of them, moving from a Friday to a Thursday, so I'll have to change my routine. But yes.
So, Mr. Gutschall,
Yes.
will you guys be notified by letter? I know they're saying social media and everything, but will Waste Management actually send a letter to the residents?
Yes. I'm not quite sure. Personally, my wife opens the mail, so I'm not sure if we received the letter yet, but they will be sending letters individually, yes.
Good.
Yes.
Inevitably, old habits are hard to break.
Yes.
And not everybody scrutinizes their mail as well as they should. Is there any contingency plan in place that if somebody forgets, that there's a process in place where they can make contact and they can have their trash picked up?
Yeah, that's a great point. Something we hadn't discussed with Waste Management, but certainly I'll be sure that they are prepared for any
I'm just
mispickups.
going to guess there's going to be more than
Yeah.
one.
Sure. They can make the appropriate accommodation at that time, I believe.
I think once they see their neighbors putting their trash out, the light bulb will go on, so.
Yeah.
That's how I remember it. I drive home and I see all the trash cans. I was like, put up
That's
the
how
trash.
Brad remembers it.
It's the holiday schedule that gets you.
Fortunately, my neighbors are on the ball. That's okay. Any old business? We have none. New business. We will go to item 9A. We need to take action on a change order. This is change order number 1 with Garden Spot Mechanical, and change order number 1 also with Ebersol Excavating for the Lower Paxton Township Authority storage facility. Mr. Godshall, I have it up on the screen, but if you want to give us a quick overview.
Sure. Members of the board, yes. So the two change orders for consideration by the board this evening both deal with the construction of the pole building, which is located again behind the sewer operations facility complex. Both change orders combined increase the contract cost in the amount of $5,157, bringing the final total project contract cost to $362,782. The certificate of occupancy was issued by the township on July 22nd, so all this is retroactive. In fact, I think the sewer department already has the building very much occupied, which was the intent. Change order number 1 with Garden Spot Mechanical retroactively provides for a time extension as well as the addition of a few UGI required gas service facilities. Change order number 1 with Ebersol Excavating provides for the retroactive installation of snow guards on the roof. Given the pitch and height of the roof, they were required. And so township staff and the engineer recommend these change orders, which will close out the project in its entirety. I'd be happy to help answer any questions if the board may have them.
Any questions, board members?
That looks pretty straightforward to me.
Yes, sir. Would any member like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we accept the change order number 1 with Garden Spot Mechanical for $4,121 with also a contract extension and with gas services that need to be extended. And change order number 1 with Ebersol Excavating for the Lower Paxton Township Storage Unit in the amount of $1,036 with a contract time extension. with also installing the snow guards. This would be $5,157 for the extension of these two change orders to bring the total to $362,782.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
9B, we need to take action on an application for payment number 5 from Greenland Construction, this for the 2019 Township Drainage Improvement Project. Again, Mr. Gottschall.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Pay app number 5 authorizes payment in the amount of $12,135 to the contractor Greenland Construction Incorporated on the 2019 Township Drainage Improvements Project. Once executed, the balance of this contract will be in the amount of $1,500, representing some minor punch list work to be completed yet. This pay application has been recommended by the township engineer and staff. I'd be happy to help answer any questions if the board may have them.
Board members, any questions, comments? None. Seeing none, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the application for payment number 5 from Greenland Construction for the 2019 Township Drainage Improvements Project as laid out on the agenda.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, that will take us to 9C. We need to take action to approve the 2020-2021 through 2024-25 PennDOT Winter Traffic Services Agreement. And Mr. Gottschall, this is fairly routine, but you may want to explain for our listening audience, viewing audience, what we're doing.
Sure, sir. Board members, before you this evening is a familiar document, and as mentioned, very straightforward, dealing with a new term of winter traffic services between the township and PennDOT. This agreement provides compensation for the township's effort in maintaining state roadways, 7 roadways in all, during the winter months in the years 2020 through 2025. Total compensation for the upcoming winter season for all 7 roadways, again, that's just in 1 year, through this agreement is $38,875.95. And that is increased from $36,773 as of the 2019-2020 season, which was in the past agreement that is expiring at this point. The township solicitor has reviewed and approves of the agreement, and so too does the director of public works.
Okay. Those two esteemed gentlemen in approval. Any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Gottschall, I know I ask this every year. Have we ever tried to get some more money? I mean, that's a lot of roads to take care of. We're using our salt, and now we're responsible for the sidewalks along Route 22. They just won't budge.
Yeah, this is, the only way we'll ever get any more money is if there's a very large snowstorm and they have some very detailed, formulaic way in which they will reimburse us additional funds. But other than that, we're pretty much stuck. And of course the positive point of this is not the financial aspect, which the director tells me we're probably not breaking even on this agreement. It's costing us money, but the benefit is the township taking care of the roads immediately and doing it the way in which the township knows how to do it best, rather than the state coming in and blocking off. They just come in and plow through, and it's not a very good arrangement that way. So this is a better setup, and it's done immediately. So
because I know a couple years ago we did try to call and ask, and they told us if we don't want to accept the money, then they'll get those streets when they're done with everything else. So okay. With that, I'll make a motion that we approve the 2020-2021 through 2024-25 PennDOT Winter Traffic Services Agreement for $38,875.95.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor, aye? Aye. Okay, 9D, and now we need to take action on a resolution. This is Resolution 2020-18, authorizing the execution of a lease purchase agreement with Ford Motor Credit Company, LLC, for the acquisition of a 2020 Ford F-550 truck. And we have the lease agreement right here. Yeah, there it is. What are we using the truck for?
Yes, sir. This resolution authorizes the township to enter into a lease finance agreement for the purpose of leasing one 2020 Ford F-550 with equipment for the Public Works Department. The lease in the amount of $45,216.15 was included in the 2020 budget and will be satisfied by Hoffman Ford of Lower Paxton Township. Again, this is for the Public Works Department. And it's a pickup that'll be outfitted with the plow and pretty routine equipment for just daily operational use.
Okay.
Did we have one that we leased and the lease expired and we're giving it back and getting this one?
I'm not sure that this year I don't know that this year we traded any in particular. I'll have to get back to you on that. I know next year we will be trading in a few. So the truck that this is replacing may be in next year's trade-in, but
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I request that we approve the action on Resolution 2020-18, authorizing the execution of a lease purchase with Ford Motor Company, LLC, for the acquisition of a 2020 Ford F-550 truck, as presented by Mr. Gottschall.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, now let's go back. And we have an item that's on the
9E.
9E that, okay, under subdivision and land development, we need to accept dedication of additional right-of-way along the north side of Locust Lane. And that is what? Mr. Stein?
I'll take that one.
Okay.
Yes, this resolution would accept certain previously dedicated right-of-way or offered for dedication by a developer who developed on one leg of the intersection of Locust Lane and also Fairmont Drive. It's on the north side of Locust, and it's on the western side of Fairmont Drive. And that'll help out in the right-of-way acquisition for that intersection and the improvements that are going to occur there.
The traffic signal and...
Yeah.
Correct, yes. And you can see it's the hatched, if you look on the...
I know there's a way to turn this sideways.
There is, yes.
I'm not familiar with it, but there is.
But you can see it hatched on the as we're looking at it, the right side of Locust Lane.
This area here?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay. And we're accepting that right away?
We're accepting that dedication, which was made some time ago.
Oh, okay. All right, any questions? Would anybody care to make a motion then?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we accept Resolution 2020-19, accepting the dedication of additional right-of-way along the north side of Locust Lane.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. And that takes us to improvement guarantees. We have 5 of them: Blue Ridge Village, Stray Winds, Hampton Court, Flank Drive. All appear to be fairly routine. Anything out of the ordinary? No. Any questions, board members? With that, would anybody care to make a motion to accept the improvement guarantees or approve the improvement guarantees?
Unfortunately, I can't. My computer went out.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Make a move that we approve the improvement guarantees as stated by Mr. Gottschall.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. And that brings us to payment of bills for Lower Paxton Township and the Lower Paxton Township Authority. Madam Treasurer?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we pay the bills of Lower Paxton Township and Lower Paxton Township Authority.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any additional announcements from any members of the board or staff? Seeing none, a reminder, this board will meet again 1 week from tonight, Tuesday, August 11th at 7 p.m., and that will be a workshop meeting of the board. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.